JB Stadium is looking magnificent. This is the Warriors lineup. Mathers at fullback, Calderwood, Phelps, Carmont and Richards, Smith and Luluai. No Trent Barrett. Forwards, Fielden, who captains the team, Hyam and Coley, Hanson and Bailey, with Tompkins at loose forward. And on the bench, Paliasina, Colbon, McIlorum and O'Carroll. The coach, Brian Noble. Now the Wildcats, Grix at fullback, Blanche, Gleeson, Atkins and Peterson, Rooney and Brough. The forwards, Moore, Drew and Wilkes, Demetriou, who captains the side in the second row with Golden, and Danny Sculthorpe is the loose forward. And the bench, McGilvray, Bybee, Leolatu and Bibb. The coach is John Keir. There are 4 ex-Wiganers in that Wakefield lineup: Gleeson, Wilkes, Sculthorpe and Bybee. And there they are, a 4th consecutive defeat. Here would be their 100th defeat from 138 away games in the Super League. They've lost 7 in a row, including the last 6 in Super League. They arrived around about 40 minutes before the kick-off. But John Keir says, well, that's the adversity we face, but bring it and bring them on. And Wigan, not in the best form themselves, won just 1 of their last 5 in the Super League. But following the draw against the Catalan Dragons in Perpignan last weekend, they are actually unbeaten now in their last 2 matches. Now, as a rule of thumb, a point a game over the season takes teams into the playoffs. A win here for Wigan, they will have 28 points and a second successive playoff appearance after missing out in 2005 and 2006. But first out of the dressing rooms, the Wildcats. They're anxious to get on with this, and Wigan, they will follow them now, led by Stuart Fielden, the captain of Wigan tonight. It's his 70th Wigan appearance, by the way, for Stuart Fielden. The man who's been ever present for Great Britain since 2001 wasn't involved in last year's Test series, and these Wigan supporters will be hoping that Fielden, in the last 3 weeks of the campaign, can catch the eye of Tony Smith, the World Cup coach, and he might be on the plane to Australia at the end of the year. It seems a long shot, but we shall see. Out they come. They won last year in the playoffs at Bradford and Hull, and right now they're on course for a visit to Warrington in the first weekend of the playoffs. This match and 2 more to go in the weekly rounds, and then we'll be into the business end. And Ben Thaler is the big match Friday referee from the Super League. Just about ready to go then? Must be like you've never been away, Steve-O.
Certainly looking forward to this game, as you've already mentioned, that it's a win at all costs virtually for the Wakefield Wildcats. And they know it, the players know it, especially their coach John Keir. It has been a shocking 6 to 7 weeks, and they know they've got to get back onto the horse, but it won't be easy against this Wigan outfit, who are gaining in confidence as the days go by.
Great kick-off though from Danny Brough, very deep, and that was the first tackle of the match. Wakefield very quickly into the challenge on Andy Coley, and there are 4 of them in there. Golden and Wilkes to bring Stuart Fielden down. Oh, and there's the mistake. A big error from Andy Coley. Not the start that Wigan were looking for this.
Well, he just took his eyes off the football. You could see that Danny Sculthorpe had him in his radar. Demetriou was there as well. And that is something that you do not want early on. Brian Noble will be furious over that.
They're 20 metres away from the Wigan line, in possession with Brough, and he fires it wide and finds Ryan Atkins, Bailey and Cameron Phelps, the men who bring him down. There is Danny Brough. Here now is Golden. Golden attacking that Wigan line. It's a big test of the Wigan defence here early in the piece, and it's Brough at dummy half, who finds Danny Sculthorpe. Sculthorpe turns the ball back to Brad Drew. This is Wilkes once again. One of the 4 ex-Wiganers in the side. They are just 3 metres away from the line, and Drew fires the pass to Demetriou, who slips under the challenge from Luluai and Coley. That's 4 tackles gone. Drew waits again, fires the pass to Jamie Rooney. Rooney then to Brough, and Brough will clip it out wide, looking for the height of Peterson. Peterson gets it, flicks the ball back. It's with Golden. and Golden will take it forward, and that will be the last tackle for Wakefield this set of 6. Scott Griggs in quickly at dummy half, 10 metres away, finds Danny Brough, stabs the ball in, the ball bounces, but it was a knock-on by Thomas Lulawai. Second knock-on from Wigan, more pressure here from Wakefield.
Pretty good play though by the half-back Danny Brough. Got himself in a good position. And he wait behind that kick as well. Little doubt he lost control of it. He was claiming to the official, Ben Thaler, that he'd scooped it up, but it did hit the ground. John Keel will be happy with this. He knew that they had to get off to a flying start.
It's Gleeson who will play the ball here to Brad Drew. He finds Danny Sculthorpe, who'll drive it in towards those Wigan posts. They know the danger of Sculthorpe. He's lost the ball though. He always looks to offload, and well, he hasn't lost it. He's had the ball stolen, says Ben Thaler. This is a penalty underneath the Wigan sticks, and there's a chance here for 2 points.
I think you just lost it. I think the cherry and whites have been badly done to there. That appears to me as though Sculthorpe had no real control of it. There didn't appear to be any harm from Fielden. Bailey was in there, but I didn't see anything wrong. Not that they'll be complaining. They'll take the 2 surely.
Come on the line, mate.
Yes, they will. Danny Brough is already lining up this kick as Danny Sculthorpe, who loves to offload the ball in almost impossible situations, but given the benefit of the doubt on that occasion by referee Ben Thaler. That's the view that Brough has. And Danny Brough, 200th career appearance tonight, over 1,500 points now, and there's 2 more to his tally, and importantly Wakefield have made the opening 4 minutes of real pressure count. It's 2-0, and downstairs quickly to Bill.
Eddie, normally before a game Wakefield would have around 26 minutes out there warming up for a match. They had 7.5 minutes to get ready for this, but as Nigel Wright on the sidelines for the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats was telling me on the way over, while they were sitting in the traffic jam on the bus wondering how they were going to prepare, he said to them, listen, it's how you did it when you were school kids. You used to turn up for games, just have a little warm up and get on with it. Let's do it here tonight, and that's what they've done. Mind you, Wigan handing them the ball twice early on won't have harmed them settling down.
This is Damien Blanche now for Wakefield.
I think the 2 points was important for the confidence of the side. You can tell that they're not functioning anywhere near their best. Earlier in the season they would have put 4 points on the scoreboard with a try, a couple of opportunities, not quite got the confidence to shift the ball, having Wigan on their own line, but still that might build, and I think that's what they wanted to take the 2 points for.
Wakefield paying their second visit to the JJB Stadium this season. When they were here earlier on, it was a low-scoring affair, 8-4. No surprise then that Danny Brough took the 2 points on offer there, and that's a great kick from Brough.
They're the tactics. That's all you have to do when you've just got your opposition a little bit confused. As Bill Arthur has already mentioned, 2 early errors, and just keep turning them around. It sets the brain box in motion. He's such a key player, isn't he, Danny Brough? When he's on form, the Wildcats are too.
Well, he only kicked 2 from 5 in the Challenge Cup semi-final, and although people don't want to point the finger at him, there are some Wakefield fans who say that that is possibly the reason why they're not going to Wembley in a couple of weeks' time. But they know that they've got to win here to have any hope at all of continuing interest in the playoff series of 2008. That's a better run from Coley. And Cameron Phelps is the dummy half for Wigan, met by stiff challenges there. Danny Sculthorpe, number 10, and Oliver Wilkes.
Pretty solid defence by the Wildcats as well. They're getting there in numbers. Now, it's one thing that has let them down at times, and that's allowing the opposition to get good yardage in and around the play the ball area. They're pretty tight at the moment.
Sculthorpe pulled down on the last tackle. Lulawai will get the kick in under pressure from Brad Drew. Blanche picks it up, the Irish international winger for Wakefield. He missed the first 12 games of this year, but he's got 14 tries in all competitions since he got back into the side. That's a great offload there. The offload then was from Scott Griggs, but Wigan were alert to the danger. It's Brough, and Brough finds Atkins. Atkins, was he looking to offload there? No, he hangs on. Smith in there quickly, also with Joel Tompkins, and Danny Sculthorpe turns the ball back to Richard Moore.
Pretty good work, combination there. That's the one thing that John Keir will need. He knows that Dennis Sculthorpe will be out there for maybe 15-20 minutes. He's got to make sure that they put points on the board.
This is Wilkes again.
He's lost that.
It was stolen. Another decision from Ben Thaler going against the Wigan defence.
Clear view, mate. No, you haven't got in. You've pulled it back.
Bit of claret coming from the right eyebrow of Phelps. Obviously a collision. Well, it appeared that Mickey Hyam certainly had the hand round the football, trying to reef it away. Yep. Pictures don't tell lies. Well, not often anyway.
Well, Hyam's getting some treatment, so is Cameron Phelps. I think he's just started to realise how tough tonight's going to be. When the guy in number 4, Ryan Atkins, runs at you, he's an absolute monster, and he's got the determination tonight to have a big game here.
Yep.
He's at times performed poorly when he's appeared on Sky Sports. I think he wants to impress tonight.
A lot of people tipping him for a place on the England World Cup party. His form has dipped a little bit, but Brough is A-OK with the kicking duties so far. That's the second successful kick, and Wakefield lead by 4 points to 0, and maybe they'll come to the ground late every week. Justin Morgan.
Yeah, it's been a very impressive start from them. I think when they've been defending, what I've been happy with is they've been getting numbers in the tackle, and that's an attitude thing. If something that's been struggling the last few weeks has been their defence, and each time Wigan have had the ball, they've had numbers in the tackle, their line speed's been good, and when they've had the ball, they've got to their kicks. I think it's key for them tonight not to overplay. Now, they're a very good team when they strangle other teams, when they play good field position and rely on the kicking game with Danny Brough, and if they continue to do that, I think they'll have a very good evening.
8 minutes gone. Wakefield are 4-0 ahead. Good deep kick-off. Grix got underneath it. Here is Richard Moore.
And fully deserved as well. That's a good effort there from the forward.
Tim Smith having a little shout over his shoulder then at the rest of his defenders. As Peterson is dragging the ball forward again.
That's been brought about by quick play the ball. Look at it in a good position. They should be able to get over the halfway line. Then when it comes to the point where they kick on the last, or maybe even they might go early.
Drew dummy half. This is Golden. Leeds ahead against the Castleford Tigers at Headingley. 6-0 after 5 here. We've been playing a bit longer. And there's a knock on. And ironic cheers from the Wigan faithful. Well, that could have also been deemed to be interference by Andy Coley on the ground.
Well, Coley was waving his arms around. As the law is written, you're supposed to try to roll away. Okay, it's pretty difficult to do that. Well, pretty fortunate. Either way, Wigan, possession, something that's been rare. Field position, non-existent.
Richie Mathers plays the ball to George Carmont. Has been playing this year for Wigan and has delighted his coach, Brian Noble. Will be playing in the World Cup in Australia for the Samoans. This is Stuart Fielden now, and he will play the ball to Hyam, who gives it to Luluai. Luluai to Andy Coley. And look at the welter of possession in the opposition half that Wakefield have had in the opening 9.5 minutes.
Pretty good defence there by Brough, operating out on that left-hand side.
Luluai with a high kick. Now then, Richards is after this, and Blanche has lost it, and he wipes the tackle count clean, does the referee, but the referee says that was a knock-on.
First knock-on, that way, then that way, scrummed out, then
And it's head and feed to Wigan. First knock-on.
Well, it looks as though the ball was stolen there, but it's the one thing that you've got to admire about Brian Noble. He goes through his tapes of the opposition. He knows exactly where they have a weakness, and it's no big secret that when you kick out onto their right-hand centres, you'll always find Jamie Rooney there. And I'm afraid that Rooney's not the best positional player in defence.
So Luluai from the scrum gives it to Smith, who fires the pass then to Cameron Phelps, takes the return, but Drew was hunting the mistake then. And it's a penalty to Wakefield.
Silly play from the Australian Tim Smith. Just lost his cool. He'll learn. Didn't like the fact that Brough was messing around with him, and then he said, well, I'll take control. No, you won't, says Mr. Ben Thaler. I'm the man with the whistle. Crowd don't like it, and I'm not so sure that Brian Noble's impressed.
Richard Moore will drive the ball forward aggressively here for Wakefield again.
I don't think it's a coincidence, Eddie, that they've sent a lot of traffic at Tim Smith in 32. It's quite a while since he's played regular games. In fact, it's 3 years since he was probably at his best back at Parramatta. He's going to have asked some questions here in defence tonight.
Hold it. Go.
A very good player on the field. He has had his problems off it, as Tim Smith. But looking to resurrect his career here at the JJB Stadium with the Wigan Warriors. Meanwhile, Wakefield looking to increase their lead here with Rooney. And Rooney fires the pass. This is Gleeson. Gleeson was given the ball by Grix. This is Demetriou now. Go down the short side. It's Grix again. Ball that is knocked forward. That is a knock on by Wakefield.
Good work from Pat Richards there. Nice option though to go down that very short blind side.
Tens, mate.
And the long arms of Richards just made sure he got to him. Pulled Grix out of it. Lost possession. I suppose in many ways Wigan will be quite happy after 12 minutes with no ball, no possession. But they're only 4 points down.
Yes, and Wakefield, they lost at home to Castleford last week. It was a hammer blow to their hopes of a second appearance in the playoffs series. And looking here, as I said, at the top of the show tonight, to really lift themselves at the back end of the season, give their supporters something to remember of a season that has shown steady progress at Bellevue.
Well, they were winning by 12 points to nil last week, and all of a sudden, when their opponents got a couple of tries, they fell in a hole. If that happens tonight, they need to try and hang in there. The momentum in rugby league shifts one side to another. You just got to wait for your turn.
Shoulder.
Yes, Castleford ran in 36 unanswered points last week. And John Keir said his team should lose a few nights' sleep, having performed like that in front of their own supporters. That kick is too deep from Luluai.
On 20, guys.
I suppose in many ways Lulu will be quite happy that it's given them. You see that one line of defence there on the 30-metre line. At least they can try to prevent the Wildcats, who I must say, well, that's lost. That's a knock on.
Leeds 10 up against Castleford. 11 minutes gone. And Wigan have possession here from the knock on by Oliver Wilkes.
It amazes me, time and time again, you see a man carrying the football and then he goes into the defensive tackle with the ball carrying arm. What's wrong with doing it the other way around?
Out!
Luluai gets possession from the scrum and he finds Mathers for Wigan. And Mathers, who had Carmont on his inside, he couldn't get the ball away to him though. Carmont 20 metres out, and here now. Oof, it's Harrison. It was a high shot, that.
Sculthorpe didn't miss him.
Hyam finds Coley.
Watch for the switch.
Quick play the ball, Hyam gives it to Luluai. Lulu attacking the line. And this is Phil Bailey. Good defence low down. In fact, it's not good defence. They were all offside. And Wigan have a penalty now right on their opponent's line.
Pretty good effort by Golden. Second row went down low, but the official caught them. Snuck the first 10. Tap and away they go.
First penalty for Wigan. Can they make it pay? As Hyam from dummy half pops the ball up. And there's a push over here by Fielden, and I think that's Andy Coley who's underneath all of that with ball in hand. Yes, it is. Coley will play the ball to Hyam again, dipped in front of Tim Smith, and a real clatter from Brough first, and then Golden,
Great
the
work.
Australian.
Great work from Brough. Came on the angle, and they've come up with the error again. Well, they're just not at home. They're playing at home, but they haven't got the brains ticked in. He knew what he was going to do. He was going to come on the outside and bring someone back on the inside pass.
I wonder, Justin, we've been talking about the problems of Wakefield getting here. I wonder whether those problems have made themselves known to Wigan, and Wigan have just turned up here thinking, well, all we've got to do is wander out onto the field. The points are going to be ours.
Yeah, that can often happen. Obviously, the preparation of another team can affect the mindset of the home team. I think both teams are really struggling with their support play at the moment. We've seen a lot of drop early on, and because both teams are getting numbers in the tackle, if we can get some support play on the inside and outside, we're going to see a lot less mistakes, because we're going to see one-on-one tackles and two-man tackles rather than the gang tackles and the drop ball. So Wakefield need to push up with the ball carrier.
Well, that's a great ball wide to Damien Blanche. Blanche is collared though by George Carmont.
Good job he got back as well. They caught Richards out. He just drifted infield. It was a beautiful long pass out wide.
Scott Grix hangs on to the football for Wakefield. They're over halfway with Rooney. Rooney infield to Sculthorpe. He finds Richard Moore. Moore runs laterally, then is collared by the Wigan defenders. It was Tompkins. Here now Brough will slip the kick down that left-hand side again. It's a great kick as well. Oh! And Richard Mathers just about managed to hang on under pressure from Peterson.
Oh, there's hardly anybody there.
What a mess.
No coordination, no talking between the Wigan players.
And that's what Wakefield do at the best. They kick the ball accurately, they chase as though the whole game depends upon it, and then they force mistakes.
And they're looking for a mistake now from this Wigan side as Richard steps away from one challenge, tries to run over the top of the next man in, who was Oliver Wilkes. This is Mickey Hyam now with a little scampering run.
Good work from the hooker as well. Quick play of the ball, Richard's taking it up through. They've got to try to get themselves in a good position. This is the last, it's not the best kick.
The one good thing about it was it did hit the deck before Grix runs it out. That's a good chase though by Mickey Hyam.
And you can see how desperate Calderwood was to get away from the markers. He left to play the ball and really exposed Tim Smith. Anyway, he got some width on the play. Now it's Wakefield's turn to go forward.
Well done. Hands up,
with Brough here. And now Sculthorpe once again tries to ride the challenge, loses the ball in the process. Danny Sculthorpe, who has gone public and said that he would love brother Paul to be playing at Wakefield with him next year, and Paul Sculthorpe, of course, is going to be released by St Helens at the end of this campaign. And John Keir has done nothing whatsoever to douse the speculation. He wants Paul Sculthorpe if a deal can be reached.
Good, head in.
Well, you know, Wigan maybe have been flat in the opening quarter of this game, but they've brought on Ifeka Paliasina, who I think had one of his better games in almost 3 seasons at Wigan last week in the south of France. His involvement in the match was high, and then when he carries the ball, he's such a difficult player to stop. Expect 1 or 2 charges here now.
Silly play from Blanche. It's given Wigan that position that they've been denied so far. I'm looking forward to the combination which was so successful last week. Timmy Smith and Thomas Luluwai, they combine exceptionally well. That's the running that Phil Clark was referring to from Paliasina.
He nearly put Jason Demetriou behind the sticks then with that initial run, Paliasina. And they're moving the ball away from him though now. This is Tim Smith. He showed it one way. Oh, that's a brilliant try from Tim Smith. He showed the dummy run of the ball, and Wakefield took the dummy, and Tim Smith went through the gap. It's his first try for the Wigan Warriors. Tim Smith, as I say, an immense talent. He had his full debut in France last week, the former Parramatta man, released because of off-field problems, the 2000 NRL Rookie of the Year. But just in that one little movement there, showed us exactly the sort of quality that Wigan have brought to the Super League.
And the Wigan club made it quite clear. They knew it was going to be a gamble. Could they change the guy's attitude? They knew he had beautiful play like this. Beautiful dummy. And good work by the dummy runner coming back on the outside there. Back, you could see there were 2. And it was enough for Danny Brough just to hesitate. That's all it takes. With a good amount of this quality, give him half an inch and he'll take half a mile. Not that he needed it.
He's only 23 years of age, Tim Smith. So a career stretching ahead of him if he can sort himself out off the field. And this now is Pat Richards. He is the top point scorer in the Super League. Over 700 points for Wigan in his career. And accuracy with the boot. Wakefield had the lead from the 4th minute. And a quarter of an hour later they lose it. It's 6-4.
So important to have the dummy runner. You can see there that Danny Brough hesitates. He thinks it's going to be inside pass. Throws a little dummy and the step and the shimmy. First try of the game. And they are happy. They've waited long enough.
Tim Smith with a try then. Wigan have won 10 of 11 against Wakefield here since moving in 1999. And they've won 18 of 23 in Super League home or away against Wakefield in exactly the same period. That's a good strong run from the captain for the night, Stuart Fielder. And the ball is dislodged illegally from Fielden's grasp in the view of Ben Thaler, not in the view of Richard Moore. And the penalty count, which was 3-0 in Wakefield's favour, is now level.
Well, I think he has a good shout as well, Richard Moore. I think he just lost it.
Same as the penalty that was called against Andy Coley early in the piece. It's 1-1 now. What a run from Palliasina.
Well, they call the Warriors, but that's Viking stuff, isn't it? I mean, that's going to be high.
It was. Tavita Leolatu.
He has a problem, this guy. I'm sorry, but
how else are you going to stop him?
You stop him legally, Phil. And that is tackling below the head. It's as simple as that. It's basic rugby league football, not trying to take the head off. And as I said before, since he's arrived at Wakefield, this guy has had a problem. He just goes in very, very late, and he's an awkward defender. I think it can cost your side a lot of penalties, maybe the game.
Well, I think he also gave Oliver Wilkes one as well in that left eye, just underneath the eye, and Oliver Wilkes is on his way off the field. He tried to get Stuart Fielden and stop him. He stopped the run, but he's now got Oliver Wilkes coming off the field for treatment as Tavita Leolatu.
Is that double jeopardy?
Here is Tompkins now, the loose forward, a big improver, Joel Tompkins, this year. 4 tries here against Hull a couple of weeks ago. Smith and Luluai. Back he comes to Richard Mathers. To go inside, Gleeson can't do so. Rooney was there in support defensively for Wakefield. Now it's with Luluai. Pops the ball up for Palliasina again. The big man drives it once again at Dimitriou, wrestles him to the ground. Palliasina just about played the ball correctly then. It's with Luluai. Here is Smith. This is Phil Bailey. Good tackle by Danny Brough. Fiddling round on the floor, but Ben Thaler, his patience holds. And Smith manages to hang on to that ball on the last tackle. We'll play it here to Mickey Hyam. Now Luluai will hoist the kick. Looking for Pat Richards. No better catch of the ball up high than Richards. And Wakefield get the ball dead off the boot of Sean Gleeson. It's a goal line dropout coming up by Wakefield that Wigan have forced.
Tremendous kick. Right into the corner. They've already applied a couple of times, but it's created all sorts of problems for Blanche, the winger.
I know it's already been mentioned, but since Palliasina's come on the field, I don't think it's a coincidence that the Wigan offence has certainly improved a great deal. He took the carry before their last try. They've marched down the field 2 or 3 times, 40 or 50 metres on the back of great carries from Palliasina. It's a nice player to bring off the bench.
Castleford fighting back against the Leeds Rhinos at Headingley. 10-6 there, 6-4 here. And this is Hyam. That was a quick play the ball by Fielden. This is Harrison Hansen.
That's been the difference also of Wigan over the last 10 minutes, is the fact that they are trying to get to their feet quickly. Make sure that Hyam has every opportunity to give this big fella a run.
Palliasina gets to his feet, plays it to Hyam. Here is Luluai. Luluai then to Tim Smith. Good ball from him. Tompkins spins out of one tackle, but Atkins held on to his shirt tails, pulls him down. It's Hyam. Scampering run from him. Smith again dodges one tackle, floats the pass then to Luluai, comes back the other way. Luluai! Oh, it's a great try from Thomas Luluai. Sneaked out the arm and plonked it down. 100 appearances in the UK game now for New Zealand international Thomas Luluai. 60 of them for Wigan after last week. In the New Zealanders World Cup squad, 23-year-old Thomas Luluai has increased the Wigan lead.
Tremendous stuff. They came out of the line and they just hung back. Nothing you can do about that. That's sheer quality. Brian Noble, over the years as a coach, fully realises how important the 2 halfbacks can be. But the 2 individual efforts, one from Smith to start with, and then now his partner in crime, Luluai. He was explosive in the second half against Catalan, and look at that. That is sheer quality. Step, step, reach out and dive. Boy.
Great try then from Luluai, and Pat Richards now to improve matters. A try and 8 goals, 20 points in last year's 44-10 victory here for Pat Richards, and there's another 2 points to his personal tally and to the Wigan tally, and Wigan now are ahead by 12 points to 4. Luluai's try.
Well, it was sheer quality and class, wasn't it?
He has his critics, Thomas Luluai, but when he applies himself like that...
I think you're right, Eddie, but a lot of people perhaps thought that when he came to Wigan, I think they tried to make him into a creative player, when let's face it, we've just witnessed what he's capable of doing. He likes to take on the defence, and when he does that, he's spellbound.
Well, it helps if you've got players like Fielding and Palliasini carrying the ball in the way they do. Just going back to Stuart Fielding, you know, for 4 years in a row, he was voted in the world's best 13. That was one of the, and in fact, 2 years ago in the World Club Challenge, looked like the best player in the world, didn't it? I wonder whether the tag of world's most expensive player actually took something out of his performances. That's been almost forgotten by everybody, and Stuart Fielding's looking back to his best.
Yes, he is. Luluai's a good kick down the line, but well watched that by Scott Griggs, the Wakefield fullback. Harrison Hansen and George Carmont with the tackling duties. That's Rooney, and here is Damien Blanche.
We often talk about taking the opportunities, and that's what Wigan have done. You mentioned the first 15 minutes, they were in no position to get and launch anything against this pretty rugged Wakefield defence at the time. And it was 2 pieces of sheer quality that broke down the defence, no fluke.
Just back to the halfbacks, about Luluai and Smith. I've been lucky enough to see Tim Smith play quite a bit, and what I like about both of the Wigan halfbacks is that they like to run the football. As a halfback, you've got a big job. You've got to direct your team around the field. You've got to decide whether to pass, whether to kick, whether to run, often in that order. But I think with these 2 halfbacks, their first option is to run, and I think that's a great attitude to have for a halfback, and I think if they continue with that, they'll cause plenty of opposition, plenty of problems.
Well, that was a real up and under, wasn't it, from Danny Brough? Went straight up in the air, and Wigan get the possession back. It was Cameron Phelps who capitalised on the pat back by the Wakefield player. This is Tavita Leolatu now tackling Richard Mathers.
It's been a problem with Wakefield throughout this season, in as much that through passages of play for 10 minutes, you see the likes of Danny Brough take control. And then Wakefield, for some unknown reason, they go through a patch where everything seems to go wrong. That was a shocking kick from Brough.
This is Luluai back on the inside. It goes to Richie Mathers. Big changes being made there by John Keir as the ball goes up in the air now off the boot of Tim Smith. It's a bit ahead of his own players, but Griggs caught it, fell, and Pat Richards was the Wigan man who swooped on him. Here goes Matt Peterson now. Good tackle by Phelps. Stopped him, finished off by Tim Smith.
You saw the stat come up there. John Keir will be quite concerned over the fact they've missed 8 tackles already, as against only 1 from the Cherry and Whites.
Good offload by Danny Brough though. Gets Griggs involved. He finds Leolatu who drops it. Wigan have it back in dangerous territory for Wakefield. Luluai, the dummy half. This now is Liam Colbon.
They've got to be pretty careful, Wakefield, that their heads don't start going down. If Wigan get over for a quick try now, it could be a very long, hard road for them tonight.
Leeds increase the lead at Headingley, 14-6 here at the JJB Stadium. 12-4 to the Wigan Warriors. We're coming up to half an hour on the watch. Wakefield led 4-0 at one stage if you're just joining us tonight on Sky Sports. That's a try for Phelps. Not what Wakefield wanted at all. And Cameron Phelps. Good build-up work by Wigan. The former man from Canterbury Bulldogs in the NRL who joined the Wigan party in May. Playing in the centres right now, but he can play fullback or wing as well. A couple of tries here that really caught the eye against Leeds in July. He played 3 in the NRL this year before Wigan brought him over. And Cameron Phelps, well, he's paying them back for their faith. There's another Wigan try.
All came about by the mistake by Latu. and from there it was always going to be on that a try was on the cards, and that was very quick hands indeed. Well, the first 15 minutes Wakefield's defence was pretty solid, but now they've gone back to not getting into the Wigan faces, but they're hanging back to find out what they're going to do. And I'm afraid anybody here and you viewers will be saying one thing: I know what they're going to do. Wigan are going to score more tries unless John Keir can shore up this defence.
That's a real interesting point now for Wakefield. We'll see about the fight in quality and in fact the quality of their play here now. They need to almost be ignorant to the scoreboard. That can't affect what they're doing. They need to get back to doing what they did earlier on in the season and earlier on in this match. Missed attempt there by Pat Richards from the sideline. 12-point deficit. They're still alive in the game. What's the body language? What's their play going to be like?
Well, you can see there's a defence. They're not moving forward and trying to give them something to think about. All they're doing is hanging back. That was poor play by Ryan Atkins. He's got more quality than that. Take nothing away from Phelps. Got himself in a good position.
Yes, Cameron Phelps with the try. It's Leeds here and then St Helens away in the last two rounds for Wigan. Their defeat here 34-4 to Huddersfield a couple of weeks ago looks like costing them a place in the top four if Warrington keep going. Let's go down to Bill on the sideline.
Eddie, we saw Ollie Wilkes come off a short time ago for Wakefield after a collision with one of his own players, Tavita Leolatu, and Wilkes coming off second best in that. Got poked in the eye and has had treatment on the sidelines. In fact, he was due to be spelled and should be able to come back in the second half.
Oh, every time Palliasina get the ball, this Wigan crowd they hold their breath, and then the collision comes and they go ooh, and no wonder he lifts people off their feet. This is Griggs now for Wakefield, but trapped 12 metres away from his own line.
Great kick and chase. They're up for it now. Put under the cosh for the first quarter of this game, but Wigan, and they know it as well, they're very confident in their defence. No shirking in that department. That should be a penalty. It is.
There's one of the young players at Wigan, Liam Colborn.
He's had an amazing season, hasn't he? Played on the wing for the first 19 games, yes. And all of a sudden now he's a second row forward. Pretty good transition mid-season.
Well, he was named actually with Harrison Hansen on the bench by Brian Noble yesterday in the second row, and
it's amazing.
One or two eyebrows, I suppose.
It's amazing what food can do for you, Eddie.
That ball has been lost in the challenge. Kyle Bibb not happy with the decision, but Ben Thaler will not be convinced that this was stolen.
He just lost it completely. He'll learn, and if he won't learn, then this guy won't pick him.
One of the best talkers of the game of rugby league is John Keir.
Out!
He lives, eats and breathes the sport, but at the moment at 16-4 down, on his way to his 8th defeat in a row, which is a shame really, because early on in the season Wakefield were playing really well.
Yeah, they certainly were. The combination
Leeds looking to do their points for and against a bit of good tonight. 24-6 against Castleford. That's good defence from Wakefield. This is Bailey, and he finds Palliasina.
There's better defence. You see them.
Look at the run of him. They can't bring him down. If you don't get him down on the deck, Palliasina will just run all over the top of you.
Look at the size of the thighs.
Luluwai, nice little kick to the corner, turning Griggs around. And a great chase as well, led by Colborn and Carmont. Huddersfield Catalan tomorrow night 7 o'clock, Sky Sports 2 and HD2. And a big announcement promised by Ken Davey, the chairman of the Huddersfield Giants, at half-time. Nobody seems to have any idea at all what it's all about, other than Mr. Davey, of course. But he has said that it is the most important announcement in the modern-day history of the Huddersfield Giants. Now, I hope it is a big announcement, because otherwise Mr. Davey might be left with a bit of egg on his face.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Oh, another mistake.
Leolatu surrendering the possession again. I mean, Steve, you're the man with all the gossip in rugby league. What's Ken Davey going to tell us, you think? What are they saying down Huddersfield way?
Well, they're hoping they're going to buy 10 Australians, but that certainly won't be it. But whatever it is, I'm sure that it's making sure that the Giants are going to be financially secure for quite some time. I think that maybe will be one of the major factors. They're never frightened at the Giants, Huddersfield, to try something different. You've got to applaud them for doing that.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's given them so much publicity this week that whatever it is, and as I say, if it isn't a really historic announcement by Ken Davey, he might get a bit embarrassed, but whatever it is, it's absolutely fantastic, the publicity they've had. That also was nearly fantastic.
Wasn't that outstanding?
Joel Tompkins so close then to scoring a great try, and here goes Matt Peterson now on the counter-attack.
Great work from both sides. Unbelievable. Ooh, Danny Brough didn't like the attention of Calderwood.
Calderwood working really hard at marker there for Wigan, and still working hard. Leolata goes to ground up Calderwood.
Well, surely that was a bit of a flop. Just lost his marbles a little bit, did Calderwood there.
Is this a 40-20?
What play by Danny Brough. He's recognised that the Wigan right wing has made 4 consecutive tackles, gone to exploit the gap on that side, but didn't find it.
And here goes Mathers now, halted by Dimitriou.
He's hurt as well as Mathers.
Well, the referee has seen something here because he said, I've seen it, I've got it. And Jason Dimitriou wasn't particularly impressed with the method of the tackle that Mathers used then, or the method of the challenge or the fend that Mathers used. Maybe this will tell us more. Well, yeah, maybe a forearm underneath the chin.
Certainly looked that way. Palesina just...
Well, you ask the question, why they run with the ball carrying arm? If you run with the arm that you're not carrying the ball, you end up like Ali Lawatiti having to go and visit the disciplinary committee.
There's a bit of difference in protecting yourself and then lunging forward, and you can see quite clearly Richard Mathers has done exactly that.
Richie Mathers could be in some trouble here because the referee has had a very clear view of this.
Well, it was boiling, wasn't it?
He's off. He's off. Is it red or is it yellow?
It's
red. And it's the second time this year that Richie Mathers has been sent off. First time at Warrington when he felled Matt King early in the season. And Richie Mathers, well, he can't believe it. Ali Lawatiti did exactly the same the other week. He was left on, the incident went on report, and Ali Lawatiti got a one-match ban. And it was contact with the head that the referee has just said.
What made it worse was the fact that instead of just accepting the tackle, he lunged forward with the arm, and that made it worse. It was seen by the touch judge. It was also picked up by Ben Thaler.
Well, the Wigan fans think that the referees are against them. I think they've had more players sent off this year than any other side.
I think, and we're just checking the figures for 100%, we think it's 3 in the last 4 home games. McIlorum was sent off against St Helens, Gareth Hock was sent off against Huddersfield, and tonight Richie Mathers has just been sent off against Wakefield. Well, Wigan will now play the remainder of this match, obviously, with 12 men. This is a chance for Huddersfield. It's Rooney.
And they've got to make it count early. They've got to make it... Wigan have to start thinking and regrouping their defence. They're going to have to work overtime. Oh, intercept!
Brilliantly picked up off the floor there, almost by George Carmont.
It's just not working out for Tavita Leolatu. It's getting spicy out there. The official, Mr. Thaler, has to have a little bit of look about this. Don't be surprised if a penalty is forthcoming, just to calm it down.
And the Wigan crowd, of course, now will be on Ben Thaler's back for the remainder of this night.
Ooh, it's getting very tasty indeed.
Well, that's a grapple tackle, surely, by Gleeson.
Hold it, let's fall.
Round the neck, then.
Get your hands out for the fall.
Here's Palliasina. I must say, Dimitriou was clobbered by Palliasina when he first came on the field, and Dimitriou has been first man into the tackle on Palliasina ever since. Little kick by Tim Smith to the corner just takes the heat out of the situation momentarily.
Very good thinking indeed. 16-4 up. Let's not get just caught in A bit of a squabble. Let's get down there. Let's get it sorted. Settle it down a little bit. We've got enough experience to know that.
Well, I know that Wigan have lost a player, but in many ways they've also gained the advantage of having Pat Richards now playing back at fullback, which in my opinion, is his best position. Liam Colburn probably comes over to play on the left wing. They are, of course, then short of a loose forward. If you look at the back of the scrum, they only play with 5 in that position now. They've dropped one out to defend.
And it's a kick and chase by Demetriou, but Pat Richards is the man there, last line of defence for Wigan. He's seen the big screen, he knows that there's only seconds remaining. This scrum will be called by the referee, but as we've only got 2 seconds, the players are on their way off. There's the half-time siren. The boos ring around the stadium, not for Brian Noble's team, because they lead by 16 points to 4, but Ben Thaler is the man who is at the centre of the attention as far as the Wigan support is concerned.